Welcome to Nanoscopic Drop, where I'll be giving the conceptions that will be shaped to my true heart and where professional wrestling, my favorite sport, and yes, I can call this a sport, will say how does the event land and where will it be completed to the nth neon. In this world is how I enjoy my opinions and give out, while afterward I can also see all of you people have your own too. So don't forget what's in your thoughts when watching yourself a set of matches / bouts. I'm not the only one who is doing this to and exploring entertainment like this. You decide if you like it or not. Nobody's wrong with their own unique perspectives. So by kicking off the fourth episode of my newly born podcast, I'm in search of one particular pay-per-view today, which will be revealed in further moments. But before I buckle up, I would like for you guys to please subscribe to the channel and knock the like button down and comment on whether what matches or wrestlers' work should I have thoughts on next. Slugs on standby. Alright, so today we'll be talking about where I found in the WWE Network before it lands on before it goes exclusively on Peacock. I've been trying to get into the golden era of professional wrestling, around the 80s, 70s and 80s. And so I looked over this event that was performed at Madison Square Garden. And this was in WWF, in the World Wrestling Federation, released on January 23rd, 1984. This is all I know from this particular event. I don't know who's coming up in these cards, in these match cards. I just went on and just pressed play just for the hell of it and just see what was it like back then. And so hereby witnessing the first card, this is Jose Luis Rivera versus Tony Garza. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. So now the opening card definitely served me an eyebrow raiser. They felt free. These guys felt free, no loss of trouble, and carried with respect as none pulled off anything sketchy, tricky, or plain dirty throughout this match as a whole. Each locked eyes before the next execution were involved at that moment, since at first witnessing the collar and elbow tie up, Tony hammerlocks until Jose pulls the opponent's left leg and avoiding increased damage to his left arm, and a smart move by Tony to push him off. For that is a smoothing start, as nothing major has been yet applied at present. The two stand at ease, quite relaxed yet focused. Jose goes planning a headlock that somehow gets interrupted by the head scissors hold being planted 3 times, but fastly keeps in check when finally rests Tony to lose his energy and concluded his fascinating quick attempts for the final headlock at that moment. He surely stays there for a while, but another thing that Tony brings intelligence to the canvas is how he remains to dominate an armbar, even receiving a near fall win, according to losing balance from Tony's legs, rising up to stand on his feet. The only mishap I observed near the end was a complete mess on striking the dropkick performance from Jose Luis Rivera. It didn't look good, but there was no more botches forwarding there. And in conclusion here, Tony countered the Irish whip to the corner for only the opponent to dive a second rope crossbody, but astonishingly failed to kick out of Guerrero's amazingly roll-up cover. Excuse me. It ended marvelously once both competitors agreed to shake their hands after the belt. A little bit of the code of honor right there. The second match. Now this is a tag team match. The Invaders versus Mr. Fuji and Tiger Chong Lee. It's very nice to look at what it's like in the 80s of professional wrestling, and here I am proud that I witnessed this card as a tag team match, since each had their fair share and fused huge efforts together, such as how the starting point left into the Invaders, tagging for the train of twisting wrist locks on Tiger. Once Mr. Fuji takes in place legally. He sets handy technical claws by the shoulder and the lower section near the sides of his hips and back. Thankfully, I chose Japan over the Puerto Rican Masked Man for breaking a bear hug hold. This distraction pulls off well from both teams when one jumps over the ropes and goes back to their corner, and the other distracting a ref from witnessing choking one by a rope and cheat by not tagging their partner to receive an illegal takeover, or when Fuji sends himself to the canvas for the invader to come as well illegally in the ring. However, I see that the bear hug consumes greatly here to pass the time in exchanging whatever maneuver is there to provide next. And I thank Chung Lee for that, especially for how the time landed minutes of 20. The Masked Man applied another train of attacks in Chung's left leg, according to the numerously building this innovative seated senton / crossbody transition, and abdominal traps on Mr. Fuji and Tiger until Invaders created a star-stunning leg splits combo hold. I couldn't really name this maneuver specifically. I just after seeing that for the first time, I just suggest that I think this is how should I call it? But shockingly, the match settled to a draw after the time limit of 20 minutes were to close. Thank goodness no one stand with the defeat that night, because I was rooting all day for Tiger Lee and Fuji. This was a remarkable tag team match, and most certainly contender of star match of the night, because this tag team match was really innovative and strongly recommend to see it. I mean, I really never heard that much about the Invaders, but I've heard a few stories in the WWF with Mr. Fuji as him as a manager and managing other superstars. In the third card, the Masked Superstar versus Chief J Strongbow. 7 minutes and 26 seconds did kind of curve the level surrounded by far of the show. I'm stepping back a few for how this match turned out to be, as it hurts minimally. Once the bell has rung, Chief stuffed a side headlock, which at most took on in timing more than this well put back body pin response by Jay's opponent, quickly delivering it 3 times and no longer pressuring up to get back at it. Something in the Masked Superstar fears Jay, especially later on when he's been receiving strives to remove the man's disguise. Luckily, it never was revealed to his true face, as I wanted the Masked Superstar to pick up a win. He did hear me, and in fact, he gave Strongbow a mouth-spitting aftermath of the amendment clothesline, closing into a 3-count cover. 1, 2, 3. The chemistry was there. What was more about that match? They relied more on what's behind the mask of a superstar, which he changed his name. Though honestly, I really thought the Masked Superstar would have been something else, because that name is just not that quite intriguing or interesting or very creative as of that. But though, 7 minutes and 26 seconds. That's not a lot, honestly. Not even close. Didn't even landed on 10 minutes. I would have want more duration here, and for the next time, if I see these two are coming back in a probable chapter at Madison Square Garden. In its fourth card, Ivan Putski, hopefully I'm saying that right, versus Sergeant Slaughter. And now for this fourth card of the event, it drew the timing well, surprisingly, for over 10 minutes or so. No anger there, of course. Really appreciative of its timing. The beginning felt a bit of emptiness since Ivan, the competitor, simply thrown boxing-like shots without even using his fists to launch onto Sergeant Slaughter. Shortly that went pretty awkward, and Now to even look back, I'm assuming they hadn't thought what makes their match start boiling. Or maybe this might be the purpose what we were supposed to look at. I could be wrong for that, but afterward, the boredom meter seems to be slowly rising for how Surgeon waits for about 3 or 4 minutes to start maneuvering something and get to the jump, and somewhere where I can enjoy to this point in its entirety. They needed to had that utilized for whatever moves they should have taken here, so that was a no-no at its starting point. And finally, the collar elbow and tie-up is applied, and Ivan decides to scoop slam the opponent, leading the first attack. The Polish man, referring to Putski, has a great set of muscles on him. He decided to also sweep away the different strength of the American sergeant, which now brightened up the middle point of the bout according to his turnbuckle body plans. Did some striking maneuvers and does this move, which is like a first timer for me to witness. He does this, they would call it the Polish hammer strike from Ivan. He led his opponent to be moved out of the ring with his chin hooked on the third rope, which was an odd sell for me. Odd sell. And the apron area. So, coming into the apron area led to be the final spot where the official / ref had spoken for us for somehow a count-out victory by Surgeon Slaughter after he was thrown back at the canvas for Putski's vicious back elbow in an impressive way to ignite someone, being fooled, losing while supremely damaging your foe. Nice fallout, but I blame the cameras around the show for not showing the ref fully counting all the way from 1 to 10 here, because I was really surprised when once he pulled out the count-out victory. I was like, well, I didn't even heard him counting the 10th count. They only shown the ref in its last seconds count. But sure, it drew some confusion, and I've gone back and it needed its audio check. Also for me to hear the ref too, though love the aftermath brawl, and that still break in from both men, which I hope to see a rematch and hope for it to be better at its beginning. And probably maybe the second disappointing match, of the night. In this fifth one, I believe, Mr. Wonderful, Paul Ordorff. Paul Ordorff. Jesus, am I saying this right? Paul faces against Salvatore Bolemo. If I wish what fragile wrestlers will take between 10 or more minutes of their squashed bout, I can take it with a bright smile than what's in today's world. Because it's like to simply destroy him or her in just seconds or less than 5 minutes. That's what I really hate about nowadays in professional wrestling with these squash matches. And I assume that Salvatore was one of those jobbers, I guess, but in the entire performance, he proved potential in beating the Mr. Wonderful's debut at the Madison Square Garden, even right next to Roddy Piper. Paul wins the first movement by the distraction of Paul's partner on Roddy Piper. The brawler puts in scoop slams from canvas and at ringside, throws one mean back body drop before Salvatore leads an arm twist hold that mostly throughout his moveset here. He counters Paul's spear to the solid steel post. Just brutal damage for him. Another operation lost track after the diving splash, leaving Sal to pull a brawl's combination strike and steals anything that Paul had done physically, and what he brings this magnificent self-legs locked headbutt to the midsection of Mr. Wonderful. The two sequence a spectacular finish, according to Sal's. Shoulder block, Paul's leapfrog, or cartwheel caused to lose his next move after Paul's triumph of the power slam, nailing Bolemo to the canvas, finishing the match by the pile driver and earning a pinfall victory of Piper's client. Why even bother checking out the time scale of the match? I had fun seeing this. Its pace was done really well. Probably the second or third best card of the night so far. Truly a gem. I can just say that. Truly a gem of this match. This match was really good. Surprised they placed this card very early. This is for the Iron Sheik, the championship. The Iron Sheik versus Hulk Hogan, in a 1 hour time limit. The WWF Heavyweight Championship is up for grabs if one can retain, if one can retain one, or one can be the new possessor. In my head, I'm yelling for why. Why couldn't officials wait for the champion to remove his robe and prepare himself for action once the bell rings? It took Hulk to immediately run into the destruction by Irish whipping to Sheik to the corner, and use his robe to choke him. Pretty much done like if he's a heel. But the audience is roaring with happiness for Hulkamania. This Hulk Hogan, his character right there. It looked like he pulled out a heel. It didn't look good. It didn't look good for him. For me, he may have played it like if he may have placed himself in the position where he was like a heel. This kickoff ran me into a huge dislike from Hulk for his impatience. I go with Sheik all the way now. He needed vengeance right away. I do accept being entertained by Hogan's two-handed chokeslam, though it's a rare one to see it happen. Luckily, the Iron has struck back and countering a cornered running back elbow feet stomp away from the enemy's vitality, and carries a nice backbreaker. The Boston Crab's submission is crumbling everyone's hero as she cries with aggression to pull off a tap out. Sheik and Hulk paced greatly, sharing control. I think the early major moves gave me fear nearly when both looked like if they were down to dramatically be motionless or giving up by tapping out. They've given away that momentum at the right time, but surely 5 or so minutes ain't gonna cut my disappointment there from the extent of its time. And why wouldn't they add up more, especially for a title bout like that? I'm not only spitting on that particular issue than Hogan's atomic leg drop victory, but Iron Sheik needs a rematch against Hulkamania for the golden belt someday, and seriously consume how long it'll take than today's duration. I need more. Plus, this is the second card I'm collecting twice of my irritation here for its entire timing of the show. And let's see what this is. I'm guessing the 6th card, I think. And here I see on the Jimmy Superfly Snuka faces against Renee, I think. Renee or Ren Colette. Could be pronouncing his name wrong. Pure suck up. Gene dashes to Snuka and attacking before the bell even rang. Irish whips the opponent and lands a brutal elbow strike. The many strikes that were slowly put to a close once Jimmy rushes a several folding to protection by giving him this unknown strike where he goes pulling up 3 strikes. It couldn't identify his strike. I couldn't identify his strike there. The claw has gripped the man's face, nearing losing his alertness. And escaped by using body blow, but he never untangles the hold. Golet lets go of the near finish and attack before getting up properly to counter. The running man loses momentum once a chop was received, which led Jimmy to dive on the top rope, landing a crossbody and immediately getting the 3-count victory. So short, so misplaced that even at its second last card, it really stung me. Knowing hopefully the main event goes out bigger than this one, I do appreciate though Jimmy's athleticism here, and he has so much energy, but the timing never somehow shined Jimmy's opponent, and just only his one-time claw hold being shown. 4 minutes is so awful to hear witnessing its full length. Whoever thought of this booking and having its full length like that with less than 5 minutes, they really need to edit this one and redo the match and make it much longer and fun, honestly. And so coming up next, then there's this 6-man tag team match. Now this is the main event of the night. The last match of the night, the last card. The Wild Samoans versus Rocky Johnson, teaming up with Tony, Mr. USA Atlas, and the most well-known WWF legends of all time, Andre the Giant. One of the members of the Wild Samoans, Samu, hopefully I'm saying that right, heads first against Tony Atlas. The fellow Samoan had himself believable to step back for a while when facing Rocky's friend. Fear catches Samu instantaneously by Andre almost chopping the chest but Johnson tags, which made him the legal competitor. Never did it took long for Andre to capitalize as he gives a seated senton, pinning one of the Wild Samoans, winning that night's last card of the show. Disappointing to see another card played so quickly, probably more than 3 times or less. This leaves a medium-sized stained on a 50/50 rated show. Not bad, but not good to start with my journey and what sources would call it its golden era of the WWE. Would like to see a rematch between this 6-man tag team match for its downfall in duration and performance. I was really, really mad about this match and this main event. I'm extremely upset seeing that these moments that led to close a show as if it's believed to be the most exciting or best shows you'll see in the history of professional wrestling, especially at Madison Square Garden. If another show stains half like this ever again, it'll probably make me think twice of these several misses will be up to jump further into another history or timestamp of other wrestling promotions. Please continue like that. Please continue what it's supposed to be. Not rushed, not like a rushed show with matches having most of the time less than 10 minutes and not giving their best shot that they can do for these wrestlers to perform in. But let's see. But before I leave, I would like to rank these matches. Let's see who would go first. I know officially now the Invaders versus Mr. Fuji and Mr. Tiger and Tiger Chung Lee is the best match of the night. I also go with Jose Luis Rivera versus Tony Guerrero as the second place. Third place would be Mr. Wonderful's Paul Ordonoff versus Salvatore Bolemo. Fifth place would probably be Ivan Putski versus Sojin Slaughter. Then next would be the lower section, the Max Superstar versus Chief J Strongbow. What else? The Gene Golet versus Jimmy Superfly Snuka. The Iron Sheik versus Hulk Hogan, and its worst, of course, the main event, the 6-man tag team match of Wild Samoans versus Rocky Johnson, Tony, Mr. USA Atlas, and Andre the Giant. I hope there's better events beyond of this date of Madison Square Garden events in of January 23rd, 1884. This is my first show of this era. Hopefully some good things happen next. And I guess this is a goodbye. Think I'm done for today, guys. And I'll see you next up on maybe the next episode, which I will be posting the Ring of Honor's fifth Ring of Honor's pay-per-view that just came out a few days, maybe a week ago, and it's our Ring of Honor's 19th anniversary. So I hope you guys check that out. For any of you Ring of Honor listeners and fans out there. And I guess this is goodbye. I think I'm done for today. Vlogs off to relaxation.